From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Hello everyone and happy Halloween to you. Let's get you through Kruger's Quickcast here for your Thursday, October 31st. This is what it may be looking like for many of you in your neighborhoods as those kids are going to be begging for candy. Trick or treat, of course. Hey, here's your trick or treat forecast here for tonight, that is. Of course, we'll be looking at mainly dry conditions. I think everyone, for the most part, will be dry. If you see a passing sprinkle, especially in the mountains, don't be surprised, but don't really worry about getting washed out for tonight. I think the kids will stay mainly dry here. It's just going to be on the cool side here for the North Coast, inland, and into Trinity County, and really for everyone, even the valley, a bit on the cool side here as we take you through the evening hours tonight. Speaking of tonight, temperatures upper 30s to about 40 here for the valley, although a little bit warmer to the south. We've got 20s and 30s for the mountains, low to mid 30s for Trinity County, low 40s inland, and looks like somewhere in the upper 40s for those overnight lows along the coast. All right, out the door tomorrow morning. I'm not too happy with the representation here. Now let's take a look at this and analyze this for just a quick second here. I think any showers tomorrow morning, North Coast. That's it. Trinity County, Siskiyou, Modoc, you're probably dry, as well as the valley and eastern mountains, but eventually you'll get in on some of that rain. Let me show you what I'm talking about in a Futurecast here. And we're just going to take you through Friday. So here's what it looks like tonight for the trick-or-treaters. Again, you see how we're seeing a passing sprinkle here and there, but overall it is dry, looking pretty good for the trick-or-treaters. But by tomorrow morning, this is what I was talking about. Here's 8 a.m. You can see the North Coast, the leading edge of the rain coming in. You've got the rain. And we're going to look at this in more detail in our deeper dive forecast, but this should just give you a general idea. By noon, most of the rain now north and west of the valley, dry everyone else, for everyone else that is. Through the day on Friday, then we're seeing everyone looking at the chance for showers. And by the way, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm out there. Snow levels may be just a tad higher with this system than the one we saw last night, but I do expect to see the potential for some chain requirements east of I-5 tomorrow night and into early Saturday morning. Temperatures for tomorrow in the low 60s, just a tad warmer, but still on the cool side. 40s, 50s for the higher elevations, and those temperatures should be somewhere in the mid to upper 50s, even some low 60s for some of you along the coast. Here's a look at your 7-day outlook for the valley. We could see just a stray shower early Saturday morning. Otherwise, dry through the weekend in the valley, dry and warmer, taking you through next week as well. North Coast, inland, and for Trinity County. I've got you dry even in the morning on Saturday, so dry all weekend and dry through next week as well. We've got, of course, that rain tomorrow. There you can see for Mount Shasta, Alturas, and Susanville. Slight chance on Saturday. Slight chance through the day on Saturday, slight chance through the day on Saturday as well. It's mainly just going to be the north end of Northern California, so northern Del Norte, northern Siskiyou, northern Modoc, and in Lassen and Plumas counties on Saturday through the entire day. But when we look at Futurecast, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's not going to be much, if anything. All right, so that is your Quickcast. Went through it as quick as I could. Now we're going to take a look at our deeper dive forecast. Cool and unsettled through Saturday morning. Possible chain requirements east of I-5, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, although I do expect snow levels to be just a tad higher than we saw with the last storm system. Dry and warmer for the weekend into next week, and mostly dry through next week. And of course, warmer. I've been talking about the winds over the last few days, especially for the coast. Weather Service has decided to issue a wind advisory for your Friday with south winds at 20 to 30 miles an hour and those gusts from the south at 40 to 50 miles per hour. Let's take a look at those winds here through the day tomorrow. Here's tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. We're just beginning to see those winds ramp up 15 to 30 miles per hour along the coast. By 10 a.m., 20 to 40 miles per hour. And we're seeing that kind of spread eastward, even into central Siskiyou County, seeing some very gusty winds there as well. High profile vehicles may have issues even through Friday afternoon. Now, by Friday, about 3, 4 p.m., we're seeing the winds begin to die down for the coast, but now the cold front, as it pushes eastward, we're seeing some strong winds coming from the south in the valley, eastern mountains, and of course, central Siskiyou County as well. Those winds died down by Friday night, and then Saturday, not nearly as strong with those winds. It shouldn't be a factor anymore. I'm not going to show you the humidity because I'm not concerned about fire weather risk here with these winds, because we've got plenty of humidity and, of course, rain too. All right, speaking of rain, not a lot going on tonight. If you see a passing sprinkle for parts of the higher elevations this evening for the trick-or-treaters, don't be surprised. But overall, it's dry, just cool for the trick-or-treaters here for tonight. Now, tomorrow morning, let's talk about this. Let's walk you through the timing through Saturday. All right, so here it is, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. You're waking up in Del Norte County. You got a few showers. Nothing heavy, nothing terribly strong. Everyone else still dry at this point. We take you through the morning hours, and that will all push eastward. So for after 6 o'clock in the morning, we progressively start to see the rain kick in by around noon. Most of the rain is north and west of the valley. You can see some moderate to heavy rainfall. If you see a stray thunderstorm for parts of the north coast, Friday morning, don't be surprised. We're also seeing snow over some of the highest elevations, probably above 5,000 feet when we're talking about snow. But that's some pretty heavy snow. So it looks like some good snow heading into the Marble Mountains and into the Trinity Alps as well. Here's Friday at 4 p.m. It's now pushing eastward. You'll notice it's not as organized, but still some scattered showers. There could be some brief periods of moderate rainfall. I don't expect any heavy downpours, but there could be a brief heavy downpour for some of us, for everyone. The valley, the mountains, the inland areas, even the coast. We're still seeing snow in the higher elevations, but you'll notice it's not as blue, not as much snow as we saw with the system that moved through Wednesday night into early this morning. We're still seeing some of that snow, and this is why we could still maybe see some more chain requirements once again for many of the same locations that saw them this morning with the system that passed on through. But there you can see that's Friday night. Into Saturday morning, we're still seeing that potential. In fact, you can see Saturday morning, 6 a.m., this is where I was talking about just a slight chance for showers in some areas through the day. Here's what I'm talking about. 6 a.m., see that? A little bit of snow flurry action. You see this up to the north, a little bit of action, maybe even in northern Trinity County. And we can't rule out maybe a stray sprinkle in the valley as well. This is Saturday morning at 6 a.m. We take into Saturday morning at about noon. You see how things are clearing out for the valley, clearing out for Trinity County. But look at this. See the little specks of green? Even in Siskiyou, Modoc, Lassen, and Plumas counties. So you can see all of these areas could see a stray sprinkle. Nothing significant, nothing to cancel any outdoor plans over. Just don't be surprised if you get caught under one of them. But it's dry for Trinity County in the valley. Here we are Saturday at 4 p.m. Still again, look, you see Del Norte, Siskiyou, Modoc, Lassen. You see the little bit of light activity just trying to come on in. Everyone else is looking dry though. Even at 10 o'clock on Saturday, look, more activity is still being picked up, especially to the north. This may linger into early Sunday morning. But at this point, I'm expecting everyone to be dry by Sunday. All right, here's your rainfall totals. This is actually doing you a disservice because you saw kind of the nature of these storms. They're very spotty. Some areas seeing a lot more rain than others. So we can't tell you exactly how much rainfall each particular location is going to see. But I'll tell you this. Most of it, as we would typically see, this is the typical footprint. We're seeing the heaviest rainfall to the north and west. You see less as you head down to the south and east. I think for the valley, by the way, we could pick up upwards of 1/4 of an inch or slightly more in some areas. It depends on how heavy that rain gets as it moves on through the day on Friday. But overall, it's just not going to be a ton of rainfall, but rain we could use nonetheless. Now, I've been talking about snow. We are going to see more snow, but you're going to have to go up pretty high before you start seeing anything significant. Could you see a dusting in Alturas, Chester, or Viola? Upper Shingletown? Not out of the question. Mount Shasta, Dunsmuir, Bernie, nope, don't think it's going to happen. Portola, Quincy, probably not either. Again, you have to go up pretty high in elevation before you start seeing that. Let's take a look at Futurecast here. This is just the long range. We take you into your Friday. There's that system moving through on Friday. It's gone, and then there it is, Saturday, just clipping Northern California. Sunday, we're finally dry. Now, it looks like we'll dry things out through all of next week as high pressure builds in. We could see some winds pick up towards the end of next week as well with this setup. This could possibly elevate our fire weather risk. We'll see. We'll see what those winds decide to do here towards the middle and latter part of next week, but it's something worth watching. Now, by the end of next week, you see this approaching storm system? This could be here by Saturday, November 9th. So a week from this upcoming weekend, we could be looking at potential for another wet weather pattern moving in. But in the meantime, it'll be drier than normal as predicted by the Climate Prediction Center. It'll be warmer than normal as predicted by the Climate Prediction Center. In fact, here's your 10-day trend for Redding. Temperatures slowly ticking their way upward. Now, I don't expect the temperatures to really climb that much above normal, if at all. But temperatures will be right around normal by the middle to latter part of next week. But you see this little downward tick in those temperatures by that next weekend? This is that sign of that potential for possibly some rain moving in at that time frame. But until then, once we get past Saturday, it'll be dry from this point all the way through most likely Friday and maybe even into Saturday as well. How about those wave heights? They are increasing and they're going to stay fairly high through the day tomorrow. We just saw the clock ticking, but we didn't see any change in the wave heights. We may see them drop slightly on Saturday, but they're still going to be fairly high. So we look at the marine forecast and we're going to be looking at those gusty winds and those high waves. Now, as a result, there is also a small craft advisory for tomorrow and even into Saturday morning. Now, that small craft advisory may be extended even into Saturday afternoon, but you can see those winds are strong, the waves are high coming from the south and from the northwest, and there's your high and your low tide for tomorrow. All right, let's look at your forecast for tonight. Temperatures upper 30s, low 40s, although you can see a little bit warmer down to the south. Temperatures in the 20s, 30s for the higher elevations. Look at Chester, 18, but a little bit warmer in Alturas at about 33, and it looks like those upper 40s for your daytime, or excuse me, your overnight lows, that is, for the coast. Here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast, mid-50s, give or take. Notice no rain at all on Saturday. There could be a slight chance early in the morning, but dry through the weekend. We take you out to the north coast. You can see about 55 degrees for Rio Dell, 61 for Honeydew, 56 out in Blue Lake, and Alder Point, about 57 degrees. Let's take you up north, and there you can see for your Friday forecast, 58 for Smith River, 59 for Hoopa, and 60 in Willow Creek. How about Siskiyou County? You've got 53 for Wairika, 54 in Happy Camp, 44 degrees for Mount Shasta City, and 45 degrees for Doris. How about your Modoc County neighborhood forecast? We're talking 46 for Tule Lake, 48 for Alturas, and 50 in Eagleville. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, Viola, one of the cooler spots at 44 tomorrow, but not bad out in Paradise with a high of about 57 and 53 degrees in Kronberg. And your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Walgamith Painting. Your temperatures in the low 60s for basically Corning southward, even some mid 60s in there as well. You'll notice on Saturday that AM, slight chance for a sprinkle, but mainly dry for the weekend and dry through next week. Now, it will be a little bit cooler heading northward, about 60 for Redding, 59 for the city of Shasta Lake, Lakehead about 52, and Whiskeytown topping out at about 55 degrees. There's a look at your 7-day outlook for Redding. You got the chance for showers, of course, rain through the afternoon tomorrow. Some decent rain heading our way. Maybe, just maybe, a stray sprinkle early Saturday morning, otherwise dry for the weekend. And it's warming up and drying out as we go through next week, back into the right around 70, give or take, by Monday through Thursday of next week. That's your evening update. I'll be back again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. and live on Coffee with Kruger at 7 a.m. Until then, have a great night and a happy Halloween.
Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.